And I grew up at the time of Harry Emerson Fosdick. Any of you remember Harry Emerson Fosdick's a great preacher of the Riverside Church in New York? And he always used a full manuscript. He is a master at it. And I got the conclusion that what is good for Harry Emerson Fosdick is good for Bill Maine. And my memory doesn't allow me to do a good job anymore, so if you'll excuse me, I have some pages of notes here. But I'll try to make it as interesting as possible so it doesn't sound like it's read, okay? Now, all of you have a philosophy of life, right? Okay. Well, I'm going to help those who have a no, to help you have a philosophy of life. And that's why we did the 10 Commandments, a philosophy of life, and the Beatitudes, a philosophy of life. Now, let me share with you my philosophy of life. And you can pick and choose one or two that you like. If you don't like any, write your own. Okay, here we go. If our lives are going to have any meaning whatsoever, we must first develop a philosophy of life. In the Old Testament, Moses developed his philosophy of life in writing the 10 Commandments found in the book of Exodus. And Jesus in the New Testament shared his philosophy of life in giving us the Beatitudes, which you'll find in Matthew. This morning, let me share with you my credo, in the hope that it may stimulate any one of you as you work through your own personalized set of attitudes toward life. Pick one or two if you like, if they fit, or create one of your own. Here we go. 10 Commandments. First, make the most of what God has given you. Don't envy what others have. That's not going to do you any good. Don't ever get trapped in comparing yourself with somebody else. That's not going to get you anywhere. Because you are a unique person unlike any other that God has created. And you can make a contribution to the world which no one else can make. In other words, please, don't sell yourself short. A little boy was overheard talking to himself in the backyard, toting, and pardon my expression, wearing a Red Sox cap. I know all you Rays are pretty happy that the Red Sox lost last night, so forget about it. Toting a Red Sox cap, a ball and a bat, he could be heard saying to himself out in the backyard, I'm the greatest ball player in the world. Then he tossed the ball in the air, swung, and missed. Undaunted, he picked up the ball, threw it in the air, saying, I am the greatest ball player in the world. He swung and missed again. He swung at the ball again and again and missed. He paused to examine the ball and the bat very carefully. Then once again, he threw the ball in the air and said, I am the greatest ball player in the world. He swung the bat hard and missed the ball again. Wow, he explained, what a great pitcher am I. I'll let you draw your own conclusion, okay? Well, birth and environment do present each of us with a set of circumstances which become raw material out of which we can fashion a life that is meaningful and worthwhile with God's help. If you cannot be a great hitter, maybe you can become a great pitcher. Remember this, God breathed life into you, and he gave you the breath of life, giving you your uniqueness. Be thankful and appreciate what you have. Don't worry about what others have. Take care of what you have. To the best of your ability, use your God-given uniqueness to do whatever God asks of you. Second, keep a happy heart. There are many ways to waste a day. One of them is letting the day pass without laughing. A smiling, happy heart makes the face cheerful. A spoonful of sunshine today is the best soul food medicine that a person can take. A prominent, well-known surgeon once wrote, "Encourage your child to be merry and to laugh aloud. A good laugh will sound right through the house. A hearty laugh is delightful harmony. Indeed, it is the best of music." Now, if you find yourself on the gloomy line, the worry train, or the grouchy track, get a transfer. It's not going to cost you anything. It's time to climb aboard the sunshine train and sit in one of its cheerful cars. Third, set responsible, reasonable goals for yourself. Set a goal and make it come true. Goal setting is the strongest force for human motivation. In 1957, a 10-year-old boy in California set a goal. At the time, Jim Brown was the greatest running back ever to play pro football. This tall, skinny boy wanted his autograph. He also had another goal, but first he had to overcome some obstacles. He grew up in the ghetto. Malnutrition took its toll. Rickets forced him to wear steel splints to support his skinny legs. After obtaining Jim Brown's autograph, he proclaimed, "Mr. Brown, one day I'm going to break every record that you hold." Brown was impressed and asked, "What is your name, son?" The boy replied, "Orenthal James. My friends call me OJ." OJ went on to break all but 3 of the rushing records held by Jim Brown before injuries threatened his football career. What are your goals in life? What do you really want to accomplish? What are you doing to make your life count for something? The answer to these questions will determine the direction in which you move. Fourth, you all know this one, and you're going to give me the answer at the end. If the world hands you lemonade, make... I beg your pardon, Ministers do make a mistake once in a while. If the world hands you a lemon, make... lemonade. Thank you. Moving on. Well, you know, life's sour situations can really be sweetened if we try. Okay? At one stage of his life, Eddie Cantor lost everything, went completely broke, and he wrote a book entitled Caught Short, which got him out of debt. Bing Crosby walked into his home one night to find his children wearing long faces. Their pet turtle was sick. And Big said, "Boys, it looks bad, but if the turtle dies, we'll have a parade and give him a big funeral." And one of the boys brightened up and said, "Dad, let's kill him." Well, maybe Bing was too accomplished at turning a bad situation into something good. Fifth, live every day as though it were your last. And that's true with some of us in our fellowship. But we are responsible for our life and to do what we can with it. Live every day as if it were your last. Rejoice evermore in everything, give thanks, for this is the will of God in Jesus the Christ. It's good to remember that the tea kettle, although up to its neck in hot water, continues to sing. Yes, it is possible to sing when we are in hot water up to our necks. When we do, it makes for a happy heart. Now, what is important here? Simplify life and choose to do the things that are vital and let the rest go. The best example to follow is Jesus the Christ. Jesus boiled everything down to two basic principles which dictated the lifestyle of his ministry. Love God, love your neighbor. Can't be any simpler than that. There is no better way than this to sustain a happy heart. 6, cultivate a sense of humor. Mark Twain once said, "Humor is mankind's greatest blessing." There is a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. Laughing and dancing is a great way to relieve tensions, stresses, and depression. I like this illustration. I don't know why, but I like it. At the time of the atomic bomb test in New Mexico, an Indian was smoke signaling a love message to his girlfriend. I don't know how they do that, but that's how they communicate. The Indian stared into, all of a sudden, there was a tremendous mushroom in the sky. And the Indian boy stared in amazement, then muttered enviously, "Gee, I wish I'd said that." Humor is to life what shock absorbers are to automobiles. They smooth out the rough bumps in the road. Now, Jesus probably can turn water into wine, but he cannot turn our whining into anything. 7th, cultivate an educated heart. Make it a habit to make others happy. Simple, isn't it? Do something for someone every day, for that is an educated heart. Now, an educated heart avoids mean people. "She's mean, all right," said a boy about his teacher, "but she's fair." "What do you mean, fair?" asked his mother. "Well," he replied, "she's mean to everyone." That's not true of teachers here, I know. The heartful life is always turned out toward others in acts of kindness, and that's what makes a great church. That's an educated heart. Try it, as Mikey said. You might like it. 8th, avoid perfection. You can't please everyone, so stop trying to do so. Isn't that what we try to do in the church? We want to please everybody? It's impossible. Be natural. Be yourself. Suppose Jesus had tried to avoid public displeasure. He never would have healed on the Sabbath, nor have driven the money changers from the temple who were robbing the poor blind, nor would he have gone to the cross, associated with tax collectors, prostitutes, and lepers, or any of the undesirable people of his day, for which he was severely criticized. I don't know the secret of success, but the key to failure is to try to please everyone. And we cannot serve two masters, for we will hate one and love the other, or we will hold to one or despise the other. The best way to please one half of the world is not to mind what the other half is saying. Think about it. People will always have an opinion about what we see or say or what we do. It's human nature. That is why we live our lives according to the words of the Bible, God's opinion of us. That's what matters. When we do this, we will not fret over the opinions of others. Getting down to the end, hang with me. Ninth, cultivate a love for beauty. Whatever things are lovely, think of these things. Our souls are elevated by the beauty of great music, inspiring literature, noble art, and the natural world around us. In his autobiography, Adventures in Two Worlds, Dr. A.J. Cronin tells of his trip to Florence, where he fell into conversation with an old gardener who told him, "I see my cherry tree in bud, and then in flower, and then in fruit, and then I believe in God." 10th, cultivate a growing and abiding faith. That may be the most important of all. Dr. Moffat translates verse 12 of 1 Corinthians 13. At present I am learning bit by bit, but then I shall understand as all along I myself have been understood. In the reception room of the Institute of Physical Medicine in the Rehabilitation Center in New York City can be found these words, and I've seen these words on that plaque. I ask God for strength that I might achieve. I was made weak that I might learn humbly to obey. I was given weakness that I might feel the need of God. I got nothing I asked for, but everything I had hoped for. Almost despite myself, my unspoken prayers were answered. I am among men most richly blessed. Signed, Roy Campanella. Our faith deepens and expands as we face every experience as those who have the companionship of Jesus. There is no greater joy. Amen.